Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time when you're watching this video. Today, we will be discussing about citing specific sources to support claims. By the way, this is the first topic that is included in the finals grading. I hope that you will listen well throughout this video discussion. But first, let us define what is claim. So when we say claim, it is a statement or assertion that expresses the writer's main point, opinion, or argument on a particular topic. Claim is a sentence that is considered more on subjective side since it came from the reader himself or herself. Even though the reader or the writer uses different evidences or references or sources to support the claim, then it is not still a 100% true or 100% verified statement since, again, it is subjective or more on subjective in nature. References or sources are not enough in order to prove that it is 100% true. Again, it's just a claim or based from the reader himself or herself. It can be a main point, it can be an opinion, an argument, a suggestion or recommendation, or even an encouragement to the readers or listeners. So that is claim. There are three types of claims. I know you are already familiar with these types of claims since these were discussed already during the past grade levels. We have number one, the claim of fact. Number two, the claim of value. Number three, the claim of policy. Let's discuss once again what is claim of fact. It is a claim that asserts that something has existed, does exist, or will exist. From the word fact, this is a statement that claims or suggests or expresses that a specific thing, person, or idea or concept has existed, is existing, and will exist. Basically, it's about its existence in the real life context. Claim of fact debates whether it is true or false. Again, all claims are not 100% true. And in claim of fact, it can either be true or false, or fake or realistic. Let's have an example here. Smoking increases the risk of developing lung cancer. So this is a claim of fact since it can either be verified through a true or false type of test. It can either be true that smoking increases the risk of developing lung cancer or not. Second one, we have the claim of value. This claim asserts judgment whether it is good or bad, more or less desirable. In claim of fact, it's more on our brain or on our mind. For claim of value, it's more on our feelings or what is in our heart. It appeals to the inherent moral values of the audience. In other words, claim of value focuses on the morality or whether it follows the concept of moral values or morality or not. If in fact or claim of fact, it is either true or false. For claim of value, it is either good or bad. For example, animal testing for cosmetics is unethical. Again, we have the word unethical. It can either be good or bad, pertaining to the animal testing for cosmetics. And then for the third one, we have the claim of policy. This claim is something that should or should not be done. In other words, claim of policy is more focused on the action, whether it should be allowed or prohibited. The keyword in this type of claim is the modal should. Let's have an example here. The government should increase the minimum wage to reduce poverty. This example is more on the suggesting or recommending side, since it can neither be bad nor good. It can neither be true nor false. It's about whether the government should done or implement it or not. That's the concern of claim of policy, which is about its prohibitance or the act of prohibiting it or allowing it. So those are the three types of claims. Okay, so let's have a traffic light reflection first before we proceed in our next lesson. Now, let's proceed to the citation. When we say citation again, it is the way you tell your readers that certain material in your work came from another source. In other words, citation involves the action of giving credit or spotlight or recognition to the original creator or the original author of the idea or the information where you get it from. Citation also means that we are admitting the reality that it is not our original idea or concept, but it came from another author or another person. So there are three ways to cite sources. Number one is through summary, number two is through paraphrase, and number three is through direct quote. Direct quote, by the way, means that we are using exactly the statements stated or written by the author or the writer or the original creator. However, we need to use quotation mark in order to indicate that it originally came from the original source. First, let us discuss what is summary. So summary is a condensed version of the author's ideas and works in your own words. During the midterms grading, you have learned that summary is like a shortened version of the original text wherein it contains all of the main points of the original or the source of text itself. So not all information are included in the summary, only the most essential ones. Next, we have the paraphrase. So paraphrase is the process of restating the author's ideas in your own words. Again, the most important thing to do in paraphrasing is to use your own words. Now, summary and paraphrase or paraphrasing are two related terms, but they are different from each other. When we say paraphrase, it's just concentrating on one particular passage. In other words, when we are paraphrasing, we are just focused or focusing on one particular or specific part of the original text. We don't include the rest of the parts, only the chosen one part. For summary, on the other hand, it focuses on whole work, section, or paragraph. Summary gives emphasis or importance in the entirety of the original text. Again, paraphrase is only for one part, while summary is for the whole or the entirety of the text itself. So there are two ways to cite sources in the chapter 2 or in the review of related literature, even in the manuscript itself of the research paper or any types of academic text. The first one, we have the in-text citation, and the second one, we have the signal phrases. For in-text citation, it is a short reference included in the body of your paper to show where you got a particular idea, quote, or fact. In-text citation is like an indirect way to cite the source or the origin of the idea or the topic where your paper or text came from. Usually, it is done or it is included in the last part of the sentence. Let's have an example here. Climate change is accelerating due to human activities. And the citation is at the last part of the sentence. As you can see, we use parentheses to indicate the source. Johnson, comma, 2021, page 45. Remember to keep or include the surname or the last name of the author, the year when it was published or crafted, as well as the page number if it came from a book or journal or any printed text. That's for the first one, which is the in-text citation. How about for signal phrases? In signal phrases, we name the author or work and parenthetical citations which give reference information like page numbers. In the in-text citation, it's more on indirect way to cite the source or the reference. In signal phrase or phrases, we directly state or cite the original source or reference of our work. We can use different phrases like based on and according to. Just like here, according to Johnson 2021, climate change is accelerating due to human activities. So again, do not forget to include the last name of the author or authors, as well as the date when it was published or created. Aside from that, we can also read or see the presence of the phrase according to. So that's for the signal phrase or signal phrases. Next. But before that, let's have a traffic light reflection once again regarding the subtopic about citation and the ways or different ways how to cite sources. Let's proceed to the plagiarism. So when we say plagiarism, it is the use of someone else's thoughts, ideas, or words without clearly identifying that they are from an outside source. Plagiarism means that we failed to give credit or cite the source or sources or the original text or reference where we got the idea or the text itself. Plagiarism can either be done intentionally or unintentionally. Even though we just forgot to cite the sources unintentionally, it's still considered as plagiarism since again, we failed to cite or give credit to the original proponent or author or writer of the idea of our text or study. Plagiarism is trying to pass off someone else's work as your own. In other words, when we plagiarize, we claim that it is our original work or original idea, or we are the creator or the proponent of an idea or topic, even though it's not. And again, plagiarism can be both intentional and unintentional. Even though you accidentally forgot the source, there is still a risk that you may receive legal action against you by the original proponent or the original author or original writer or professional of your source. So that's for plagiarism. You have also learned from your research subject about the different types of citation. So the first one, we have the APA citation, which is the citation that you are using and you usually use in citing our research paper. So APA citation or APA style citation is a standardized way to credit sources in academic writing. In other words, this is the most common type of citing different sources. APA citation was created by the American Psychological Association and is widely used in the social sciences. Again, it was created by American Psychological Association, which is also the acronym of the name of the citation itself. It is widely used or usually implemented in the social sciences, just like in history, in economics, in anthropology, and many more. How to cite printed sources using APA citation. We have here first the last name of the authors as well as their first letter of their first name. Just like Laurel M, Lucero A, and Bumatay Cruz R. After that, we use period and indicate the year using parentheses. Just like here, 2016. After that, we put once again one period and then we follow the title of the reference or the source. The reference or source title is written in italic form. After that, we have here the source or the publishing house or the publishing that wrote or crafted this text or source itself. How about for online sources? For online sources, again, we start with the name or the surname or the last names of the authors or editor or editors. It is followed by the year, month, and day indicated through parentheses. And then the title, which is written in italicized form. Then, by the company or organization or the publishing company or publishing portal. And lastly, we have the link or the URL of our source. Just like here, the author is the World Health Organization. Then, it was published on 2023, May 10. It has a title, Mental Health, Strengthening Our Response. The publisher here is the World Health Organization. And lastly, its URL or link. How about for pictures or images? So again, we start with the last name and initial of the author or authors. It is followed by the year when it was published. And then we have the image title. And beside it, the format, just like painting, sketch, photography, and many more, which is indicated by brackets, by solid brackets. And then it is followed by the site name, or where did we get the image or the picture itself. Or in case that it is a physical picture or image, we can also get it through museum or a specific location. And then we also include the URL. Just like here, the creator or the one who crafted the image is Van Gogh V. His name, by the way, is Vincent. And then it is followed by the year when it was created, and then the title, the format, which is painting. And then we also state where did the author or the writer of a text get the image from. We have the name of museum and its location, followed by the link itself. Second citation is the MLA citation. MLA citation or MLA format is a set of guidelines for writing and documenting research created by the Modern Language Association or MLA. MLA format is the second most common format in citing different sources after the APA citation. However, MLA citation is not really common here in the Philippines since most Filipino learners, researchers, and professionals are using the APA citation. If I'm not mistaken, MLA citation is more common in America. MLA citation, on the other hand, is most commonly used in the humanities, especially in subjects like English literature, philosophy, history, and arts. In APA citation, it's more on the social sciences or the discipline or field that deals with different people or the society itself. For MLA citation, it's more on the humanities or on the individuality of a person. Here's an example of MLA citation of a website article. So again, the first one is the name of the author or writer, followed by the title, the publishing company or the website where it was accessed, the date of publishing, and then the URL or link. For journal article, we have again first the name of the author, the title, the name of the journal, company, or journal website, followed by the volume, number, year, and the page of the journal. The third type of citation is the Chicago citation. It is a formatting and citation system developed by the University of Chicago Press. So this one is less common compared to the MLA and APA citations. This is the first time that I encountered the Chicago citation since I have learned since junior high school that there are only two types of citation, MLA and APA. I was shocked that there is third type of citation, by the way. For the format of Chicago citation, again, the author or the name of the author comes first, followed by the title. It is in italic format if it's a title of a book, and in quotation mark if it is the name of an article. We also have the publication information or the website or the name of the publishing company, as well as the page number. Just like here, We have the author, George Orwell. It has a title, 1984, or the title of his work is 1984. And then for the parentheses, it indicates the publishing information about the novel or the text 1984 by George Orwell. So it was published in London in Harville Secker in 1949. Lastly, we have the page number. Let's have once again or once more a traffic light reflection about the types of citation of different sources. For the references of our lesson for today, if you have questions or clarifications about our topic for today, kindly send a private message to me, or you may let the class mayor first gather all of your questions so that I can answer all of your questions in just one message. Thank you so much for your time in listening in my recorded discussion, and I will see you again. Thank you once again, and God bless you all.